Just moments ago, this breaking news. Chelsea have reportedly reached an agreement with Juventus for midfielder Denis Zakaria on a season-long loan with an option to buy. Manchester City have signed center-back Manuel Akanji from Dortmund for up to $19 million. Brighton have reportedly agreed to a $10 million fee with Chelsea for 21-year-old midfielder Billy Gilmore. And a couple other players return to the Premier League. Fulham have signed Willian on a free transfer, and Everton have re-signed Idrissa Gueye from PSG for $2 million. A lot going on with now just under 4 hours until the transfer window shuts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Ahmed Fareed here, and we welcome in David Ornstein, our Premier League insider who knows about all these deals even before they happen. David, busy day for you. Let's start with the breaking news. Chelsea once again in on a player here, Denis Zakaria. What can you tell us about that?
Ahmed, this is an incredible deadline day deal, which none of us saw coming, but it has developed very rapidly to the extent that I can reveal to you and our audiences in the USA and beyond that Chelsea have agreed a deal with Juventus to take Denis Zakaria on loan with an option to buy at the end of that one-season loan. And he is undergoing a medical in the Italian city of Turin as we speak. Personal terms for this proposed transfer are not expected to be a problem, and therefore, if he comes through the medical tests in good shape, then Denis Zakaria is going to be joining Chelsea. Wow, what a surprise. This is not one that we had forecast. We did know that Chelsea wanted to strengthen in their midfield in this transfer window. They had targeted Frenkie de Jong as being a key acquisition. They were battling with Manchester United for him if he was to leave Barcelona, but his preference was always to stay at Barcelona, and so Chelsea had to look for alternative options. It was well documented last night that Chelsea had made an approach to sign Edson Alvarez, the Mexico international of Ajax, but Ajax were in no mood to sell yet another player this summer, and so Chelsea had to make alternative inquiries. I know they looked into a number of players, but they've come out of it with a Juventus player, and a top-level player at that, a Switzerland international, 25 years old. Now, he only moved to Juventus in January 2022 from Borussia Mönchengladbach, but at Gladbach, he really made his name, more than 100 appearances, and catching the eye. So he'll be coming to Stamford Bridge by the looks of it, all being well, if everything gets completed before this cut-off. And he will bolster a midfield that is depleted with an injury to N'Golo Kante, with a bit of a loss of form of Jorginho, some injury problems for Mateo Kovacic as well. And that, if it does get done, will be one of two key pieces of business for Chelsea on deadline day.
They seem like they have so many key pieces of business happening all around the football world. They've been linked to so many players, including possibly bringing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang back to the Premier League. What can you tell us about that move?
I can tell everybody listening exclusively that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to be landing in London within the next couple of hours, and that is to complete this proposed transfer from FC Barcelona to Chelsea. Now, this has been rumbling for a number of weeks because the financial situation at Barcelona has dictated that they need to get rid of players. And with Frenkie de Jong unwilling to go, Aubameyang became the key man to be moved out. He was open to the idea provided that all parties agreed. He would come back to London despite his affiliation with Arsenal, only leaving them in January of 2022 and doing well for Barcelona in terms of the fact that he helped them qualify for the Champions League, but they have brought in Robert Lewandowski to lead their attack. Those financial problems mean that it was a possibility. The negotiations have been going back and forth to the point that this morning the clubs reached an agreement that would see Aubameyang go for around 14 million euros, with Marcos Alonso going in the other direction. Now, this move has been complicated by the fact that Aubameyang was subject to a violent robbery at his home in Barcelona on Sunday, and he suffered a broken jaw, which is going to keep him out of action for a number of weeks. If he undergoes surgery, it will be a bit shorter. If he doesn't, it will be a bit longer. Chelsea had second thoughts because the World Cup is on the horizon, but they've decided to go through with it because Thomas Tuchel has managed him before at Borussia Dortmund. He wants his goals, and Chelsea have finally agreed a contract with him, 2 years plus the option of a further 12 months. And that further 12 months will be activated depending on the percentage of appearances that Aubameyang makes in his second year. everything has finally gone to plan. He will need to undergo a medical, but I do expect Chelsea to announce Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as a new signing before the cut-off here in the UK at 11 p.m.
All right, David, I got one more question for you. We'll move to another London club. Arsenal not having a whole lot of luck in trying to acquire Aston Villa midfielder Douglas Luiz. What can you tell us there?
Arsenal have looked at a number of options to strengthen in midfield following an injury that I revealed to Mohamed El Neni, which is considerable and will keep him out for a period of time. On top of an injury to Thomas Partey, their focus moved from a wide player to a central midfielder. They considered Yuri Tielemans, who they've liked for a long time, but today they have honed in on a player who scored against them last night for Aston Villa, and that is Douglas Luiz. He's a Brazil international, 24 years old. He only has a year left on his contract at Aston Villa. And today Arsenal came forward with a bid of around £20 million. That was rejected. They then came back with a bid of around £23 million, and that has been rejected too. Aston Villa are adamant that he is not for sale and that they intend to keep him. However, if this gets to a point financially that Aston Villa feel, actually, we might have to do business here, then we could have a deal before the cut-off. They themselves are working on a deal to bring in Leander Dendoncker, the Wolves midfielder, a Belgium international. He has been given permission to undergo a medical with Aston Villa after Wolves and Aston Villa agreed a deal worth around 15 million euros with add-ons included. And so I think Arsenal's interest in Douglas Luiz is going to continue into the evening. I don't know if they're going to get him because there will come a point where they don't want to push any further and they don't think he's good value for money, given that he's out of contract next summer. And he essentially becomes a free agent tomorrow because come January, the next window, you can negotiate with overseas clubs and strike a pre-contract agreement to leave for nothing in the summer of 2023. So that is Arsenal's target as this window draws towards a close. Mikel Arteta is keen to bolster his midfield. Arsenal know his representative, Kia Joorabchian, well. He has a good relationship with Edu, the technical director at Arsenal. They've done business, they've done business together, and I'm intrigued to see if they manage to get this one over the line and break Aston Villa's resolve.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.